Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 24. We are here in our career mode and we're here in the Italian GP. It is time for round 7. It is Mugello and we will start on pole position by just the thinnest of margins ahead of David Alonso. So here we go then, gang. We will start from the pole position. We will wait for the red light to go out and then hopefully we're going to have some excellent battles here in the Tuscan hills of Mugello. I absolutely adore this circuit, so I cannot wait to see what we can do. Fingers and toes crossed that I can get a move done into Casanova and Savelli. It is my absolute favourite overtaking position. So already a little bit pressured there from Tayo Furusato. That's not a good sign, because if he's already up there near the front, then you better believe he's going to go absolutely gung-ho. Ooh, yellow flags out into the first sector. But I don't know who it was, but someone's gone down. I did notice that a lot of people have been talking about red flags in their career mode. I'm still yet to have a red flag that's been brought upon by a crash. I haven't had that happen to me yet. I had it once, I think, for the review, but for the actual career mode, it hasn't happened at all. And now Zuratuz has gone down somewhere around Luco, or possibly Poggio Secco. But I tell you what a start. That is already up by 0.4 of a second in the early stages of this lap. Can Alonso and Furusato fight back? We are indeed still playing on the 120% difficulty AI. It's gone extremely well for the qualifying. I didn't do many laps, so that was my only problem, is that I basically just wanted 1 or 2 laps, jumped in the qualifying, did again 1 or 2 laps, then again it was enough for pole position. So I'm wondering if we do need to start maybe from just Q1 from now on, where I skip practice and maybe just try and dice it out in the qualifying rather than having all the practice, because it's getting a little bit too easy in these sessions where I can just do 1 or 2 laps or maybe 3 laps. It's not really enough to really push me to the edge, and I don't think this is actually enough for me either. I mean, 0.4 of a second clear already as we escape the clutches of David Alonso. Tayo Furusato, I'm actually hoping he gets that bit of a speed boost to come and fight me at the front. I can honestly say I did not expect us to be leading by 0.8 of a second escaping from the pack. I did not foresee that. I really did not. So are the AI going to bounce back, or is that it? Are we just too superior in this circuit? I guess we're going to find out very, very soon. Now don't forget, of course, our qualifying lap time was a 1:59, so we'll keep an eye on that. 1:59, more or less flat, about 62,000 of a second over the 59 mark. So we'll gauge it upon that. If I'm going to be doing maybe like low 2 minutes or 2-minute 2s or something and the AI is nowhere near, then we might have to make a decision. Maybe drop fuel. I know I used to do this in the older MotoGP games, because 120% is just never hard enough on MotoGP's Moto 3 machines. Usually on the highest difficulty for the Premier classes, it's pretty good. Of course, MotoGP 23, it took me 3 seasons to win the MotoGP Championship, and even then it took me shipping off to Italian manufacturer Ducati to get an actual World Championship in the Premier class. Now, I don't want to be doing that this year. I want to be trying to win with an inferior motorcycle on the hardest difficulty in the game. Now into Scarpa, it looks like David Alonso has fallen back a bit. Of course, expecting the Moto 3, Moto 2 update to arrive anytime soon. We'll be pleased to have the latest and updated liveries. Now don't be warned or feared, I guess, that with my BOE Motorsports KTM it's not going to change all that much. I do believe 1 or 2 sponsors have changed position on the motorcycle, but I don't think there's anything to be too concerned about. So yeah, just I don't think you'll be too alarmed when you see the thumbnails from the next couple of videos. For example, I'm going to be recording this one here today and the next one, I believe, in Sokol, so we won't see the updated liveries for a while. I do believe it's coming this week. I don't know if that's true or not. I think Milestone confirmed it, but we'll see when we get there. But that's the first lap time for us. It's a 1:59.7. That's a good lap, but that is 0.7 slower than the qualifying lap. I think we can go quicker. I think we might be able to get into the lower echelon of the 1:59s. It's not a necessity, but I certainly think we can. So I'm just going to absolutely send it now. Let's see if we can get an improved lap time. but I am expecting the usual. Lap 2, lap 3 is usually just getting the feel of things, especially for the artificial intelligence. Possibly going into lap 4, lap 5, lap 6, the man in second place and the man in third, Taiyo Furusato and Tatsuki Suzuki respectively, they will get on to the power and start churning in those lap times. And when they do, I'm ready. Steel yourselves, guys and girls. If this comes down to a battle, I'm the man to fight back. Of course, we had an excellent race in Catalonia. A lot of bumping of fairings, got bashed a few times, and I gave my own as well. I bumped into a couple of riders. Of course, Le Mans I did punt. Not quite punt. I thought the move was okay, but I know some of you guys weren't a big fan of the overtake in the last couple of corners in Le Mans on the young Taiyo Furusato. I've had that move done to me 1,000 times before. Not necessarily that corner in the final lap, but I've just given a bit of space in the past as well. But I thoroughly enjoyed that video, and I hope you guys did as well. And of course, if you do enjoy today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help the channel grow. And I would really like to focus more on the Moto3 career mode from now on, I do believe, because I did a couple of videos now, and I think the career mode is definitely the one where we want to watch. And if I can provide you solid career mode entertainment almost every day, then I am happy to oblige. This might be the first lap time to drop into the 2 minutes, excluding the first lap time, and across the line it is. It's a 2 minute 0.87, 0.3 of a second slower than the lap prior. Furusato has pulled that gap within 0.2 of a second, so this one could possibly be game on in the Tuscan Hills of Mugello. As we go now to the more highest point of the circuit, going into Luco, Poggio Secco, and then into Materassi, we do have a second advantage, and that's enough to keep you well away from the pack, because you have to remember that the AI get the slipstream as much as you do, and that's when they're able to pull you in. So without that slipstream, are they really going to be able to claw down the gap of 1 second? I must confess, these Moto3 machines feel terrific around Mugello. If you're yet to try this circuit with the 250cc machines, then definitely jump on Mugello, use the bike of your choice, KTM, CF Moto, Husqvarna or Honda, and just go for it. It's brilliant. I am really enjoying my time here. And of course gas caps as well, I forgot to mention them. Even though half of those are KTM, it's still fun to mention all the individual brands. So this lap time's materialising into a good one here. It was looking a bit better as we went into Pelagio moment, but now, going into Correntaio, it's almost green in the Delta, almost. Let's see if we can tackle Biondetti 1 and 2 correctly, and see if that puts us back in the green across the sector split. We are very much on it, but it will not be enough to improve the lap time. So from Bacine all the way to San Donato, we will steadily bring on the power and launch an attack at the finish line here to conclude lap number 4. Now, something to mention as well, guys, I did change my engine braking from 4 to 3. That was actually a mistake. I forgot to change it in a practice session the other day, and I was a little bit quicker, and the bike felt a little bit more stable. I've done the same in Moto2 and MotoGP as well, and I do find that the reduced engine brake, not by much, I usually run 4, but reducing it to engine brake 3 has given me a bit more confidence, and I feel a bit better with the bikes under braking. So it could be something worth mentioning for yourself if you're looking to find an edge upon the braking zones of MotoGP's 24 game. Now the gap has just gone up here to 1.7. We have found a couple of attempts in the first split here, but I'm beginning to wonder if the artificial intelligence are going to fight back. And yes, this is on 120% difficulty. I think we're just putting in really solid lap times. Of course, the bikes are not upgraded yet. The bikes will be upgraded at the conclusion of this Grand Prix. So we'll see what happens after that. I do believe it's after this one or Sokol, one or the two. So I'm really keen to see how well the bikes perform as we'll get our first track limit warning of the day. And in fact, where has my warnings gone on the right hand side of the screen? In fact, where has the MotoGP stewards gone? Have they fallen asleep? I haven't seen a single mention of the MotoGP stewards that usually pops up above the objectives and underneath the current lap times. I've never noticed that before. What's happened? And I didn't realise how much I actually didn't look at it. I thought I looked at that quite a lot, but apparently not. I've only just realised that now. Well, remember we have one track limit warning, guys and girls. We have to be careful of that. I don't want to end up abusing the track limits too many times and find ourselves with a surprising long lap penalty at the latter stage of this Grand Prix. But onto the power, this is going to be another improvement. Across the line, it is a 1:59.7. Satsuki, Suzuki and Furusato. Then, if they're going to create something, they need to do it now. And I'm beginning to wonder if that, to make this one interesting, should I drop the fuel? I mentioned it earlier that that's what I had to do in the older MotoGP games. You always had to run fuel power 1, just because it would make the videos more interesting. If you ran power setting 3, you would just win. It would be as simple as that. But with power setting 1, it really gave more entertaining racing, so I'm definitely going to consider that from now on. I do believe they're not so strong in Assen, so I think we've got to do a challenge in that one. Maybe start from the back of the grid, use power setting 1. We'll see what happens, but I didn't expect Mugello to be easy, to be honest with you. This is one of the circuits in the past that's always been quite tough. Of course, in MotoGP, I don't think I won there till the MotoGP class with the KTM when everyone kept crashing. It was an abysmal race, that one. It was bizarre. But it was very fun. It was a great video and it was really good to watch, but it was just regarding the level of skill for the artificial intelligence in that video was absolutely diabolical. Didn't work out well at all. But now into current tyre, we have 0.3 of a second, so we're actually getting quicker here. And that is not doing Furusato or the other Japanese rider his assistance. Suzuki and his compatriot. Oh, and now Colin Vire's gone down. His championship challenge is taking a turn for the worst. He has got to stay on board the motorcycle. I think he'll be on a gas when we get the update, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be an interesting change of colours for Colin Vire. But out of the final corner, we're going to have to make a decision here. Do I do one more lap? In fact, no, a lap 7 would be almost halfway. So, you know what? Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 1:59.3. Let's drop the fuel down. Let's go to power setting 1. How much of a difference will this make? Are we going to get caught up within a couple of laps? I would probably say my rule would be, if I drop to power setting 1 now, which I have done, I would give it a couple of laps, and if they absolutely claw back in the gap, I would probably say we'll go to power setting 2 until we're about even, and then it'll be a free-for-all for the win, so then I'll go for power setting 3. I think that... Oh, I almost dropped the front then. I felt a little bit like a twitch there in the controller. But yeah, I would say that we would drop to... We would increase back to power setting 3 if they start really hounding me and putting the pressure on, because in power setting 3, we're doing lap times that's almost good enough for pole position. We'd be on the second row there with that lap time. That's a great lap. There's nothing the AI can do about this now. 120% or not. Adaptive, no. No one's going to catch us now in this one. We're absolutely on it. Losing 0.4 of a second on this one with power setting 1. Now the difference is with the power options is that none of them affect fuel in this game. It's obligatory to use whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. But at the same time, it's all about how the bike feels. So in essence, running power setting 1 is just going to save our tyres, which is going to keep our pace up probably higher throughout the Grand Prix. But at the same time, we do like that extra oomph coming out of the corners. If we were to combine this with maybe a higher traction control, then I think we would really begin to struggle. But our first lap time with the lowest power option, you're going to see the biggest difference here on the straight. So out of Bacini onto the straight, yeah, look at the delta. We're losing a 1/10 a second almost. Maybe not that, that's a bit dramatic. A couple of tenths every other second, I would say. And we're doing a lap time there of a 2:02. So it's about a second slower than our fastest with the power setting 3. I don't know how many laps that's going to take, but Suzuki and Furusato probably will catch up if we remain the same. But at the same time, I must confess, it's a very much an enjoyable experience to use Power Setting 1, because you can absolutely get on the power without with reckless abandon. You just go for it, and it seems completely fine. So this is a fun ride. This is actually quite fun to use Power Setting 1, and the fact that we're still up compared to the AI right now, the gap dropped to less than 4 seconds a moment ago, and yet now we're still looking at a 4-second advantage. Look at that, really tight to the apex of Savelli. I really wanted to get an overtake done into Casanova and Savelli, I really did. It's one of my favourite overtaking movements of any track. It's beautiful. But I don't think it's going to materialise here. We might have to wait for Moto 2. And that's going to be a little bit of a while. Of course, we're going to have, what, 13, 15 more races left to go. Still a long time for Moto 3. But what I do appreciate is that with the full season is that we get a full, clear picture of every single Grand Prix within MotoGP 24 with the Moto 3 bikes. And we can compare it all again when we move up to Moto 2. And then the excitement just goes into a big crescendo ready for MotoGP class. I'm very much excited, and I hope you guys are too. Get subscribed if you are enjoying the video. I do really appreciate all of the assistance. But we dive into the Bacine corner for turn 15. Nicely done, keep it in tight to the apex for turn 15 again. And beautifully, we can now get onto the power and lose time. But we've gained a 10th on Suzuki. Really curious to see why they've not caught me up. Guarantee it's on 120%. Oh, goodness me, I should be paying attention. It's on 120%. Adaptive AI got turned off in Le Mans. Really felt like they'd be up there fighting with me, especially considering how close the lap times were in the qualifying session. I mean, in that qualifying, you were looking at 67,000 of a second to Alonso, and the rest of them, we were all well within the 159s, in the lower echelon of the 159s. I don't think it was till 10th or 12th place until someone was in the 2-minute barriers. So I'm really surprised there, really surprised. And apologise if you can hear that in the background. Someone's reversing a Nissan Leaf, and it makes a very annoying beeping noise every single time. And I swear to God, he must time that every single day I do a video. So shout out to the gentleman here in Warrington reversing his Nissan Leaf. That is so annoying. The last time I seen a Nissan Leaf was in Sim City, in the revamped, rejuvenated one in 2013. This is completely off topic, I apologise, but in 2013 Sim City came out with a reboot, and I do believe they had a DLC pack, which I think was free, that included a Nissan Leaf, and that's probably the only car I can mention because of that simple pack in a Sim City game. What a bizarre conversation to be having when you're leading 4 seconds here in Mugello. Shout out to the Nissan Leaf. Shout out to Sim City as well. I haven't touched that game in quite a while. Did really like Sim City. It's a belting game. Let me know in the comment section down below if you like Nissan Leaves or Sim City. We'll chat about it. And for those who haven't watched the video and see the comments, then I think that's even funnier. Without context, things are generally just, what are they on about? So, anyway, sorry, giddy mood today, ladies and gentlemen, giddy mood. So across the line, it is a 2:07. Okay then, so we are going backwards like that car was reversing a minute ago, so we need to just keep this pace going for another 6 laps, and I don't think the Japanese rider Furusato or his compatriot Suzuki can catch up. Now it's really difficult to see, but in the map on the bottom left hand corner of your screen, I think they're separated. Oh, are they together? No, I think they're together. Apologies, they are together. They're just going into Matarasi corner now. They must be neck and neck. Suzuki's just been given a track limit warning, and Furusato, he must be like a few tenths ahead of him. We can't fault here. We can't take our hand off that throttle yet. We could very well be caught up and embarrassed. But it's a big gap. It is a huge gap. 3.7 it is to Taiyo Furusato. Suzuki in third, the number 24. We'll have a quick look at behind him actually as well. Of course, don't forget David Alonso, Joel Kelso. They will be on the CF Motos when the update arrives. Stefano Nepper on the MTA Angelu's team, is it? That's just the MTA level up bike, I think it is. And then Riccardo Rossi, who's having a cracking race. First time we've seen him up there since Le Mans, I do believe, in real life. And Ifan Otola down in 8th place. I do wonder as well if the update will tweak some of the rider performances. Of course, it is a little bit different with career mode because the bikes are scaled in a different way. Depends on if the riders have been having good races or not. That's basically what the team's comparison screen is, or the comparative, as it's called. But that gap has come down to 2.9 seconds. If Forasata sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here, then we have a battle in our hands. That is my slowest lap time yet. It's a 2:01.057. Are we unravelling in the lead of Mugello? 2.8 is the gap. The BOE Motorsports team will look on in concern, I would say, to see that gap just slowly come down. I'm not too worried, to be honest, because I know I can fight with the AI. The AI are good in this game. They do give space, and they also have a lunge or two as well, so I'm not too worried that if they do catch me up. Those riders are definitely on track together, aren't they, because now Suzuki's up in 2nd. I don't dare to look behind me. I think that's one of the worst things you can do, is start looking behind you, seeing where they are on track, seeing that gap. You're only going to lose your concentration, losing your time. So I'm just going to focus, quite honestly, onto my riding going into both Arrabbiata 1 and Arrabbiata 2. So out to the right hand side. Shout out to the marshals on the right hand side there. They're watching in sheer awe of the BOE Motorsports KTM right now. Beautiful tight apex for the Pelagio call, excuse me. I had an itch in my throat there for a second. Just caught me off guard in the middle part of Mugello. Past the Ducati grandstand. Really tight the apex there. I'm still very much feathering that throttle as well. Similar tactic I've always used in MotoGP games, but it really helped me a lot in MotoGP 23. Just feathering that throttle just doesn't allow you to rip the tyre or to burn it up a bit, because when you feel the tyre slip ever so slightly, you can just let go ever so gently and then get back on the power, and that way you've saved that bit of tyre that would have overheated. Probably one of the reasons you don't see my tyres overheat all that much. But this is a way to respond across the line. That is a lap time almost a second quicker than the previous faux pas. That 2:01 was a bad lap time, and I'd like to erase it from history. But that is a good way to get you to forget about it. A 2:02, when the lap times are mattering the most, when each and every single conclusion across the line matters that little bit more, it's game on. Gap has gone back up to 3 seconds. I don't feel both Forasata or Suzuki can hold a candle to us right now. Mugello is standing in awe, because we're going to win this one in quite comfortable fashion. Now, we didn't win in Catalonia, so unfortunately our racing streak of winning has come to its conclusion. However, our pole position streak is still intact, but I imagine in Sokol I might have to starting from the back of the grid. I just don't want to have another race like this where I'm leading comfortably by such a large margin. Perhaps we could start in pole and use power setting 1. I haven't quite decided yet, but what I can guarantee is that we'll do as much as we can to make the racing exciting and challenging from now on. From into Le Mans it was great, where we changed over to 120%. Here in Mugello they're clearly not as strong as what we envisioned they would be. Concerning other computer games like MotoGP 23 and MotoGP 22, they were very strong in those games. And either of the classes, intermediate or MotoGP, they were fast. So I am surprised to see us just dominate this one so effortlessly here on lap number 12. Only 4 laps to go after this one. It's almost conclusion of the Mugello circuit here in Tuscany. So across the line, that gap has gone into the favour of Forasata again. But again, that's another good lap time. That's a clean, consistent pace we found here with the lowest power option, power setting 1. So on to the right-hander then, out to San Donato. We are looking at a 2.7 second gap. Quick reminder once again, don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. And as well, if you want to join the DrAce Discord server, you can do so by joining in the link down below. You can chat to all classic and very much fanatics of MotoGP and all of motorcycling, really. So if you want to be part of that, go ahead and join the server. And of course, we will be doing future championships and cups here on MotoGP 24. So why not let it fly and join in the description down below. Now, I've just seen someone on the opposite side of the track there. Of course, that to the right-hander there is takes you into Pacino, which is the final corner here in Mugello. And I'm seeing riders down as far as that when we're already halfway through lap 13. That's unbelievable. That is quite the surprise. Either they've crashed a lot or had multiple long lap penalties. But I will be honest, I can't say I paid any attention to the long lap penalty loop found in this corner here for Correntaio at any point during this Grand Prix. We're just focusing purely on the riding at the front. And I must confess, although I really appreciate the MotoGP Stewards mode and I love seeing the notifications come up during the race, it must be a little bit of a distraction compared to what we used to. And now there is my track limit warning. Look at that. Great timing there, Matt. Great timing. Little mistake coming in the latter stages of the Mugello GP, the Italian GP, of course. So out of Vicina, yeah, this gap is not budging, is it? It's still 2.7. I've done everything I can here to make this video as competitive as possible, but the AI is just not up to scratch. It's another good lap time nonetheless, 2:03, a deviation of 1/10 of a second over 3 laps. You can't really go wrong with that. Gap has come down to 2.3 though. Surely not. There's no point even discussing that. The AI would need to find more than 1.5 seconds over 2 laps. The AI are good. Even on the hardest difficulty which we're on right now, they still can't produce a lap time like that. We probably could with power setting 3, but that wouldn't do us any favours. It would just keep us even further and further away from the 2 Japanese riders in pursuit in 2nd and 3rd place. So this will be the penultimate time of asking. Look at those riders. Yeah, look how many there is. There's even riders actually going into Pacino now. They are so far behind. Miles behind here in Italy. That's unbelievable. We're on another level. Look how spaced out this Grand Prix is as well, especially for a Moto3 race. You wouldn't expect that. Very much the feelings of a Moto2 bike more than the Moto3. You know, the Moto2 races usually are quite stagnated sometimes. But yeah, we're finding this here in Moto3. You know what? We're only 2.5 of a second down on the Delta. We do lose a significant amount of time from this point onwards, so from Sector 3 to Sector 4, we do lose a lot of time. So across the timing line now, we're losing 0.5 seconds. Yeah, losing a little bit more. I was getting excited for a second there, because I thought we might actually be able to get into a 1:59. But there's not a chance, because when we get on the left-hand side here of the Pirelli's SC2, when we get on the power, it's just going to lose out. Yeah, look at that. Look how much time we lost. We're going to lose a second as always then, so it's still going to be a very good lap. It should be very similar to the previous one, which it is. 4 crucial laps there. I think those 4 laps there may have just guaranteed us a victory here in Mugello. I think it has. Because before then, it was a bit erratic, doing that 2-minute 1 in the 10th lap, and then before that, we were just doing high to mid 2 minutes. It's not good enough to maintain an advantage, but here we are on the penultimate lap, setting lap times which are so consistent. It's beautiful. And I think that's the first time I've come out of Poggio Secco without touching the curb upon the exit. Put that down as a DrAce law moment from now on. But onto the power then. I said on the last lap this would be the penultimate time of going into Casanova and Savelli, so this is the final time. Look at those riders crossing there now. Look at them, they're in Bacini. They're miles behind. They're going to end up doing almost a full lap by the time I complete mine. Tell you what, I'm really pleased with this one. This has been a good race. Might not have been the most entertaining in terms of fighting, battling and elbows out, but I think we've shown our mettle. We've shown what we're worth, we've shown what we can do, in conditions where we can just get to the front and churn it out. It's not my strongest point. I usually like being the hunter rather than the hunted. And I've got to say, I think it working out on the other side here today has worked out absolutely fine. So as far as I'm concerned, not too concerned. Good enough for me. I hope this video has been good for you. We will charge now in anger to Bacine for the final time of today's video. Bring it in. I'm sure the BOE Motorsports team will be greeting us at the pit wall in a moment's time. I think it was 2 track limit warnings there. Not bad. Good enough for me. And the gap will be 1.5 seconds when we win here in Tuscany in the Italian GP. Beautiful. Excellent result. So there you are then, guys and girls. Fastest man on track. Fastest man to win. And of course, quite honestly, the perfect weekend. Pole position, fastest lap, and race victory to boot. Colin Vire actually, even after crashing, still finished in 8th place. That's fair play to the Dutchman. But let's take a look now at the championship standings to see how that has manipulated this championship. And as you can see, it looks perfect for us, but the 2 Japanese riders in fighting for 2nd place, both 42 points behind. This championship is getting away from the contestants. See how that materialises for the rest of the Grand Prix. But ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you now with this screen. Thank you very much for watching the video. I certainly hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.